I'm Eric Bradner with Politico Pro Trade, here with Doug Palmer, our senior reporter who just got back from a trip to Brussels where you were talking transatlantic trade with some European Union officials. You must have gotten a sense for what Europe is watching here in Washington in trade.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, they're very interested in the TPA debate, Trade Promotion Authority. They were interested in whether Obama would mention it in his speech. And beyond that, they were just interested in how quickly the U.S. Congress would approve Trade Promotion Authority. One official I talked to thought it was important that Trade Promotion Authority get done this year. He said that it didn't matter to him so much whether it got done, say this spring or late this year in a lame duck session, but they didn't want it to, the debate to extend into 2015 because then they thought it would complicate concluding the transatlantic trade and investment talks.
Yeah, Trade Promotion Authority allows the president to fast-track bills through Congress, no amendments. Why is that so important to the European Union?
Well, I mean, it's important to them, I think, for the same reason it's important to other trading partners, in that they, whatever deal they strike with the United States, they want it to go through Congress and not be amended because, whatever concessions they put on the table, they want to get what they got in exchange and not have Congress take that away.
Now, what about Europe? Does Washington have the same kind of thing to worry about? Does the European Parliament need to pass Trade Promotion Authority?
No, actually not. I mean, as part of the Lisbon Treaty of 2009, the Parliament did get increased control over trade agreements, but basically they just have a built-in trade, a built-in TPA procedure, which means that the Parliament can only vote up or down on the pact. They can't amend it. And a couple of parliamentarians that I talked to sort of defended that process, saying that it only made sense, that if Congress has the right to negotiate the agreement, then the negotiations will never be finished.
So this issue is obviously important to European Union officials. Why does it matter so much? What's at stake in these transatlantic trade talks?
Well, I think, Europe, even more than the United States, has been going through many years of slow growth, and they see the TTIP as an opportunity to sort of help jumpstart their economy. They talk a lot about the attractiveness of having a sort of a single market of 800 million consumers between the U.S. and the EU, and how the U.S. and the EU can work together to create high standards for trade. That will allow them to sort of establish the rules of the road in the global trade arena. So it's basically for reasons of competitiveness and international leadership.
One of the issues that you had a story about is government procurement, which means like access to federal, state, local government contracts, right? What's that all about?
Well, that's one of the EU's offensive interests in these negotiations. They feel as though they don't have as much access to U.S. government procurement markets as U.S. firms have to European government procurement markets. There's sort of a difference of opinion on that, whether that statement is true or not, but they certainly have signaled much more interest in the issue than U.S. Negotiators have. And the U.S. has some sensitivities on this issue. It has the Buy American programs, which the Europeans don't like, but which have strong defenders in Congress. And also there's the question of U.S. states signing up for government procurement obligations. That's been that's a goal of the EU in these talks, and that's been a difficult area in some past trade deals.
Now, we've talked about what the EU wants to see President Obama get Congress to do, but the EU has some PR problems of its own, doesn't it?
Oh, that's true. There's a lot of concern among the EU public generally. I mean, I don't want to exaggerate it, but at least a fair amount of concerns among the civil society groups that this is going to be a deregulatory process, and that cherished environmental, food safety, consumer protections are going to be jettisoned in order to increase commerce. So. There was while I was there, I got the opportunity to attend a speech that the European Trade Commissioner gave, and he was urging European business to speak up and help sell the benefits of the agreement, because it seemed like that critics were sort of like dominating the early stage of the debate.
Now, while you were there, this Trade Promotion Authority drama was happening in the United States. You had President Obama mentioning it in the State of the Union, and then the next day you had Harry Reid saying, no, I want to hit the brakes on that. Was this something that was getting much attention over there from the officials you were talking to?
Well, yeah, I think that they were closely following it, and they certainly did want to see Obama mention Trade Promotion Authority in the speech. I think, like a lot of people who care about the issue, they were pleased that he did mention it, and maybe a little bit underwhelmed, about the delivery of the message. I mean, had maybe hoped for like a stronger message than was actually conveyed. I think that all of that won't matter so much if TPA does get done this year. If it doesn't, then they'll be concerned.
And what happens if it doesn't?
Well, I think that if it doesn't happen, they're worried that it'll impede the ability to close the TTIP negotiations, that the U.S. won't be able to make concessions in sensitive areas unless it has Trade Promotion Authority.
Doug Palmer, welcome back to the United States.
Thanks, Eric.